Thank you very much, Ariel. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming. I just want all of you to remember before you leave to turn your phones back on. So please don't forget that, because people will be looking for you. Thank you. We've been publishing at Geffen for the past 36 years, double high. And with a variety of books that we've been publishing, we encounter various authors from different places around the world on different subjects. And it's really, I would say, it's an honor and a pleasure to bring those different subjects to the crowds, to the people around the world, in Israel and around the world, to both Jews and many non-Jews as well. I think that one of the important things today is to bring the truth out. Everybody talks about fake news, everybody talks about everything that's going around the world. Israel is not being portrayed correctly, by all means. Thank God we have someone at the UN today who is doing a bit of a better job than anybody else has done until now. And I think we'll feel and we'll see the difference over the next few years. In a minute I'll introduce the two people who are going to speak today, but I'll start with the first time that I heard about Catch the Jew, the first book that we published of Tuvia. Someone came to me and told me that this great book came out in Hebrew and I really have to publish it in English. And it took a few months until Tuvia and I got together and we published the book, and I must say it's been one of our best-selling books throughout the 36 years. It sold in Israel over 7,000 copies, which is an amazing number for an English language book, and it still hasn't said its last word. A lot of it is thanks to some of you people who bought multiple copies and given it to friends, not lend their friends copies, and went on Amazon and wrote reviews. Because in the end, we know social media is the most important thing today. And once we get the news out on social media, no matter which book it is, no matter what subject we want to get out there, that helps us, first of all, sell the books, but naturally give that message out to many, many thousands of people. So I'll tell a short story of what happened with the first book right after we put out the Catch the Jew. A woman from Australia wrote me an email. And she said, look, I read Tuvia's first book, I Slept in Hitler's Room, which we published only later. And she said, I read it, and I'm a psychiatrist by profession, and I realized that Tuvia needs a psychiatrist. And I was really great, and I was willing to volunteer my time and give him free care. So I said, oh, okay. Then the continuation of the letter, she says, but then I bought Catch the Jew. And I realized that I'm the academic. I'm the open-minded person, and I'm the one who really needs care, and I have to change my way of thinking. I went on Amazon, I bought 24 copies, and I sent them to all my academic friends. Wow. And I think it's really, it's an amazing, it's a phenomenon. And I'll just say one more thing on that line. We're publishing a book now by a woman called Yochi Brandes, Hapardes in English. And we got a fantastic review by our Prime Minister. Her translator wrote that he's not willing to have his name on the book if this person's name is on the cover. Because people will not buy the book because they hate him. And he wanted a few other names, I won't mention the names, but all the names were extremely on the left wing. So I wrote him and I said, look, I'm not willing for anybody to do cherem on anybody. From the right, from the left, as long as you didn't murder Jews, as long as you didn't hurt the Jewish people, I think you're legitimate. And I'm willing to have someone from the left, from the center, it doesn't make any difference. It took us 2.5 weeks to convince the person that the Prime Minister of Israel is not a person you put cherem on. It's a person that if he writes a review, you can use it whether you like him or not, and I don't know who of you likes him or not, it makes no difference to me. Our political views should not change the truth, should not change what we want to convey the message. Tonight, we have two honorable guests that I hope will enlighten you and tell you a lot of unique stories and items that you've never heard of. I'll start by Melanie Phillips, who thankfully agreed to come and speak over here tonight. Melanie, I'm sure many of you have read her material, have known her material. Melanie, she's a columnist for the Times of London and for the Jerusalem Post, and most important, as we said before, social media. Go on to her website, melaniephillips.com. melaniephillips.com. Go on our website, read it, and just send the articles to other people. We want the truth to come out. So thank you, Melanie, for joining us. Thank you very much. I also want to thank the Begin Center. We've done quite a few projects with them, and it's a pleasure working with them. I think this is one of the finest institutions in Israel, certainly in Jerusalem. And it's an honor for us that they respect what we do and that they join us on many of our projects. So Ariel and the whole staff, thank you very much. I know it's support. Thank you very much. I want to thank Daniela from our Geffen office, who's not here because she's at the Arna with the Christians coming to Israel trying to sell Tuvia's books over there and other books as well. So thank you, Daniela, for organizing this whole thing. I just came along and said a few words. The last person that I want to introduce tonight is Tuvia. I don't think you need much of an introduction. Tuvia has, I think, chosen a task which I think is very important. He went to listen to the people. And most of us read what people on the top think and what they think everybody knows. But many times, that's not the truth. Many times when you go onto the street, when you go into the bars, when you go into the cafes, and I don't know wherever else he went to. I mean, I wouldn't ask. Certainly my wife would not let me go with him. I think when you go and speak to those individuals, to those people, to the simple person on the street, I think you learn a lot more. You learn from the cab driver sometimes a lot more than what you learn from a politician, whether he's on the right or the left, doesn't make a difference. And I think what Tuvia did here, he went, he charash et adama, he plowed the land, and he brought us the material almost ready-made for us to read and to understand. I hope, Tuvia, you will reveal many, many more things tonight, and hopefully this will only be the fourth of many, many more books to come. And I wish everybody Chag Sameach and enjoy. Tuvia and Melanie, please come up.